So Stormy totally flapped a wing in my face, and that kind of hurt. But Stormy actually really likes us. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another day in my life. So it is finally spring on the homestead, so we are back outside doing a bunch of random tasks, and I'm excited because today I am finally going to be sharing with you guys my updated supplement routine. So many of you have asked for me to share, so I'm going to talk through all of that today. Also, shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Green Chef. I have a discount link that I will leave down below if you want to check them out. So yeah, I'm going to be sharing what we've been up to here on our little homestead in the city/mountains. By the way, I'm going to give you guys a chicken update. Very exciting. And last but not least, if you haven't checked out my Patreon, I will go ahead and link that down below. And I upload exclusive content over there. It's definitely a little more uncensored over on Patreon. So like I said, if you want to check that out, I'll have that link down below too. And with all of that being said, let's hop right in. Okay, so you might think this is a weird place to open up the video in the snow, but I feel like this gives you the most accurate representation of North Idaho, and that is showing you the fact that it was snowing literally like 2.5–3 weeks ago. It's actually crazy, maybe even more recent than that, honestly, because the weather up here is so extreme. It can go from snowing to sunny like this with all of the snow melted literally the next day. So that was actually our last snow, God willing. And the boys, you'll see them throughout this video working on projects on our homestead. So our cherry tree has officially blossomed or bloomed. I think it's bloomed. And this coil, if you're wondering like what is happening right here, this is actually made out of copper, and Dan is experimenting this year with a couple of the plants and then this tree around our homestead and my parents' homestead as well, because he's been learning a little bit about something called electroculture. So let me know in the comments if you know anything about this, by the way. Now, like I mentioned at the top of this video, Green Chef is today's sponsor, and on this day I received my boxes with my meals in it. So if you don't know what Green Chef is a CCOF certified organic meal delivery company. So they have options for every lifestyle: keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, which is actually the box that I got this month, fast and fit, which is what I tried last month, Mediterranean, and gluten-free. So if you didn't know this, Green Chef is actually now owned by HelloFresh. So they offer even more meal plans to choose from, and there's essentially something for everyone. So if you guys want to try out HelloFresh or Green Chef, you can actually enjoy both brands at a discount with me. So as you can see, everything is delivered to your doorstep, which allows you to skip the grocery store. And all of the ingredients are pre-portioned with pre-made sauces, which obviously makes cooking super easy on busy nights. By the way, I've had this question before, and Green Chef actually offsets 100% of their delivery emissions to our door. And they also offset 100% of the plastic in every box. A lot of people also don't know this, but Green Chef has choices for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, obviously, that can fit your healthy lifestyle. I've mentioned this before, but I love Green Chef because it's not only like a cooking class every time, but on those nights where you're busy, it really is so much better than making your way out to fast food. You're going to get something healthier, more wholesome, and higher quality. Also, Green Chef's always changing variety of easy to follow recipes means that there is something new to discover every week, so you never get bored, which is amazing. So if you want to try out Green Chef, you can use my code, which is NikkiGreenChef60, to get 60% off plus free shipping on your first box. Go to greenchef.com for more details. So I have the couscous bowl with the cauliflower. I'm gonna give it just a little mix. I don't need to toss everything together. I feel like Dan is team like mash everything together. I like creating the perfect bite, but I don't need to like mash it all together. Okay, here we go. Stop talking. Okay. The flavors in this dish come together really well. When I was making the cauliflower and I tasted it by itself, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this flavor. But once everything gets mixed together, the sauce, the almonds, the crunch, the couscous, which I never think about making couscous, but it's really good. All right, so you already know, now that the sun is back out, we are, of course, immediately on bike rides. I will be biking basically every single day of my life for the next 6 months now. So that's where you can find me. If I'm missing, you can find me on my bike. So we had a little bit of a situations getting like set up back in our bike. I actually think there might've been a spider on the bike, and that's what we were dealing with. Anyways, it was so exciting, not only to just feel how amazing the air felt after months of snow and cold, but we love these electric bikes. If you've ever debated getting an electric bike, let me shut down the debate and tell you they're amazing. And biking around our mountain, I've told you guys a million times, is like one of my favorite things about living here, and straight up what I dreamt about when I originally left LA like 5 years ago. Like, this is it, hanging out with donkeys in my backyard, like biking around a mountain. Pretty awesome. No, but seriously, it was a beautiful day. I was very grateful. I am very grateful. And we also got to stop by and say hi to our favorite donkey, Spotty. Do any of you guys own donkeys or like interact with donkeys ever? Because they're really funny and they have their own personalities. So we pulled over during our bike ride for everyone. Okay, I'm gonna go. For everyone to rehydrate. I haven't had my sip of water though yet. I don't think hold on. So this is either gonna be epic or this is gonna be a fail. We're trying it. So what I was gonna say is we're on our bike ride, and where we live is like a really awesome spot for bike rides. Like seriously, every time we go out on a bike ride, I say to Dan, I'm like, Dan, I can't believe we even live here. It's like you're going on summer camp, but we still live here. And our neighborhood isn't like right in the mountains, but it's like kind of right in the mountains. And so my parents bought these e-bikes when they moved here, and they let us borrow them and go out on bike rides. And honestly, guys, e-bike riding has been one of my favorite, if not my favorite thing to do since we moved to North Idaho. So in the spirit of the sun being out and preparing our homestead, us preparing our homestead, Dan and Logan, his little assistant, made their way to the backyard and began to rip up plants that we are trying to remove to relocate our garden. You guys know, if you followed all our videos in Nashville, that Dan like completely transformed our backyard, and it looks like he's about to do the same thing here. So on this day, he was ripping out all of the plants that surround like the trim of our house, because we decided that we want to put a garden on the side of our house. Now on one side, we're actually thinking we're going to get some type of shed, but on the side near our sliding door, near our kitchen, we decided we're going to put our garden there, which is going to be so beautiful for like looking at, hanging out near, not having to walk so far, even though I realize it's not that far where it was before, to get herbs and stuff for the kitchen. So he ripped out all the plants, secured them to his truck to take to the dump. Okay, so if you saw my last video, maybe my last two videos, you heard me talk about the fact that I am working on a cookbook, which is crazy. I'm also working on a kitchen confidence and like body confidence, general wellness. That doesn't sound super enticing, but of course. But right now, all of like my eyes are on my cookbook because that's a really important part of it. So I have just been going pedal to the metal, which is why, if you've noticed or cared, I haven't been uploading as frequently here on YouTube, because I am just focused on getting these projects done. And so on this day, I had made a Chinese chicken salad, which this Chinese chicken salad is so good. I'm actually not typically a fan, or haven't been in the past, of traditional Chinese chicken salads, but this was so delicious. The dressing, you guys are going to be addicted to this dressing, I think. It's so good. And so what I'm trying to do for the cookbook is take pictures for every recipe. This is going to be really interesting to see how it all pans out, because I'm learning about self-publishing your own books and just printing books and what that entails. And I don't know, it's going to be an interesting process, but I do know that Dan and I really want it was really good, as you can see, really want to have a picture for every recipe, because I feel like that's what you guys would like. That's what I like when I get cookbooks. So it's been quite the ordeal. So another thing that we like to do when the sun comes out, we do go a little crazy once the sun comes out. We are like out. That's the North Idaho life. Anyways, we wanted to make a little picnic. So as you can see, it's not a fancy or aesthetically pleasing picnic, but I threw a bunch of food onto a tray and we made our way into the backyard to sit on our blanket and read some books. I ate the rest of the salad that I had just shot. Logan ate a chopstick. We had some fresh fruit. I brought out my vitamins. Very exciting times. And we pretty much just soaked up the sun. Oh, as you can see, I chopped up some oranges too. I'm actually about to get a huge delivery of Cara oranges from a farm this weekend. To say I'm excited would be an understatement. I love our backyard, and Dan and I talk about this all the time. Not only the size, but the fact that half of our yard is covered with shade from these giant pine trees is just amazing, and it makes the yard usable even in the hottest days of summer, which obviously this wasn't a super hot day, but just love it. So I guess in the spirit of just sharing some of the books that we had brought out on this day, this first book was actually from one of the little mini local libraries that you can like put in front of your house. Someone had this and we are loving this. It's called The Children's Bible in 365 Stories. And just like it sounds, they're just stories from the Bible with some really lovely illustrations. And then we also brought out a couple of books from the library that we had picked up a couple of weeks ago. One is all about the alphabet, and as you can see, it's taking the alphabet through different vegetables. Also, because I'm in full-blown cookbook production mode, I am digging my nose into lots of cookbooks and just noticing details and getting inspiration for things. So this is Kristen Cavallari's new book. This is her third book, and I actually own all three, so fangirl. So then we sat on the blanket and we read books. It was lovely. I love reading to Logan. And the fact that the sun is back out, like I said, is just everything. And then I really hope that this is not annoying, but later this night, we actually shot the pictures for this pizza that I had baked. This is a sourdough crust pizza. Guys, get ready. It is so good. Manchego and Gruyere and mozzarella and prosciutto and balsamic mushrooms and onions. It is so good. Oh, and lemon thyme. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with lemon thyme now, by the way. I had to mess with it a little bit till it was just perfect, but this recipe is just perfect. Hi guys, so I wanted to take a seat really quickly and chat with you about supplementation. So I get a lot of questions about supplements in general. I think partially just because supplements, is my necklace turned around? There we go. Partially just because people are into supplements. I think supplements can be a little tricky to navigate, especially if you are like new to the supplement vitamin world. And also I know people ask me a lot about supplements because I have been on YouTube now for 13 years. And for the first like 10, 11 years, I was very into supplementation and vitamins. I've been taking them for a large chunk of my life. And if you've been following my channel the whole time, you also know that part of my journey was that I actually stopped taking supplements for a little bit over a year for the first time since I was like 14. And we'll talk about this as we go. I pulled out like all of my supplements basically, and they're spread on the table here for me to like pull and talk about. But some of those supplements I think are like very vital. I've come to that conclusion for like my normal functioning stuff to just keep functioning well. And you guys also know probably that period of time where I didn't take supplements for like the first time since I was probably 13, is also the time frame that I miscarried. And I've said this before, I don't think that not taking supplements is what made me miscarry. I think potentially there were a lot of factors involved, and also this element of like, we'll never know. So I don't cling on to it too much. But that being said, I personally came out of my miscarriage with the conviction, if that's the word that we want to use, that might be a little stronger, but honestly, that is the word. I came out of my miscarriage with the conviction that I wanted and needed to be back on my supplementation. Now, you might be like, why did you stop for that year, Nikki? There were two reasons why I stopped supplementing for that year. One was it was when we were moving here and things were crazy. So many of my supplements, I had either used all of them or they were packed away or they had gone bad. And they weren't as easily accessible versus like having a vitamin cabinet set up with everything all like spread out, laid out, all of that. And then the second thing was I had started to really wrestle with this idea of potentially supplements not being that great for you. And if you've been following my channel for a long time, like these are not new ideas. I've always heard a lot of people say like it's basically just paying for expensive pee. And I've heard some people say that it could even, certain supplementations could even cause problems, which I'm not saying that they can't or they don't. I think anything in life done in the wrong amount, the wrong way, could potentially cause problems. I mean, I've made this joke before. It's like you could drink water and drink yourself to death, depending on the quantity and all of that and the type. So, and the quality of water, obviously. So I think there's a lot of factors there. So when I didn't have as easily, like I wasn't able to access vitamins as easily, combined with this whole thought that I was weighing out of like, maybe vitamins aren't the greatest. Like maybe my body doesn't need that and I can get it all from food. And simultaneously during that year, which is part of the reason I am a fan of supplements, because I think this happens a lot for people. I do not feel like, even if I was going to cut supplements and get all my food from my nutrition, I don't feel like I was eating nutritious enough, like not even at all, to be honest. So a lot has changed in my life over the last year, a little over a year. I am back on supplements, just as many as I was before. And actually I'm on a couple of new supplements now for different things that I'm going to talk through, but I'm an avid believer in supplements now. Like I'm kind of like a crazy old woman now that's like clutching my supplements. Like, you're not taking them from me, but it's just experience, right? Like when people have their own personal experiences. So besides my miscarriage, I also have my parents who are relatively healthy people and have been taking supplements like crazy since their like 30s. And they are just relatively very healthy. And so seeing that they have taken all these supplements for years and it seemingly hasn't done anything but help them, and seeing my own state of my body, and also I do somewhat due diligence, if that's the way, I do my due diligence, if that's the way we want to word it, in terms of like really trying to make sure I'm getting good quality supplements. It would take a lot for me to ever be off the supplement bandwagon again. That was like my year of experimentation, but I just have too much history, too much positive history with supplementation. And honestly, since I went back on everything, like I feel better on my supplementation. Now, hand in hand with that, I have been, sorry, my chicken is laying an egg and you guys may straight up hear that in the background. I have definitely improved my diet since moving into our home. I think I literally need to close the door. You're going to hear her lay all her eggs. But yeah, I'm really into them now. And I think that when you take supplements in the right way, and the right amount, I think they can be very beneficial. Now, obviously, I am not a doctor. I'm not even telling you guys to go get any of these supplements. The whole craziness of the internet and everybody having really firm opinions makes me nervous to share, but whatever. People are always gonna have firm opinions. And I want to tell you guys what I'm using in case some of you, I don't know, I could spark your mind into something you hadn't thought about before, or pique your interest in something you had been looking at and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Just like connecting dots. Anyways, that's why I'm going to go over all of this. But just know, everybody is different. People respond differently to things. People have different goals. They want different outcomes, which I guess means the same thing. Some people are not very good at taking supplements. So that's another thing. I really, 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 really believe that an important part of supplements is consistency. I mean, I think consistency is it's kind of like key for everything, honestly, in a lot of ways. But in regards to supplementation, I think consistency is key. Now, granted, even though I say that, you're going to hear me talk about this as I go through all of these pills, that even though I do think it's all about consistency, I also think a lot of it is about following your gut. So I've talked before about muscle testing. Like chiropractors will frequently do muscle testing to try to find out sensitivities or allergies to foods or different supplements. And I've never actually had a good reaction to muscle testing where a doctor has done muscle testing and they make me aware of something I shouldn't be eating or taking. And then I implement that and it's oh my gosh, look at these positive changes. I've never really had that. And I'm into all kinds of woo-woo-wee treatments, but this general vibe of trusting your body to a certain degree, I really agree with. And so even though I'm very consistent with vitamins, if I ever reach in my cabinet and I'm you know what? I just want to take one of those today. Or, ooh, I'm actually going to pass on that this afternoon. Or, ooh, I want to take 3 of those right now. I'm not saying that that every decision I make on supplementation comes down to like, what do I feel too? So I'm not saying that I take vitamins that way, because I do have general amounts I try to take, especially on certain things, like not serving size, but like, 600 milligrams of this. Like I've looked up amounts that I want to take for certain things to like meet requirements, or like what is considered healthy. Also, different doctors recommend different things. So like, for example, some people are like not a huge fan. I mean, this kind of tends to be more in like the non-supplementation community, but they're not a huge fan of vitamin D because it's actually a hormone, and they think that it messes with your body in like not the greatest way because you're supplementing a hormone. I don't agree with that. There are some doctors that I follow and really like that also don't agree with that. And so in terms of like how much you should be taking, dosage amounts, it's gonna vary depending on your own body, which doctor you choose to believe, how you react to things. So like I said, it's not all woo-woo wee-wah when I take a pill. I have a general idea, but if my woo-woo wee-wah meter in my body is feeling more like, I just want one, or like, you know what? I'm not vibing this right now, then I don't take it. So from that muscle testing perspective, I do follow my gut a bit when I'm supplementing, but also just know that I take supplements basically every single day of my life. So I'm very consistent. And honestly, most days I'm taking supplements 2 to 3 times a day. It's very rare for me to skip a day. It's honestly very rare for me to just take 1 round of supplements for a day. 99% of the time, it is 2 to 3 rounds of supplements a day. I take them with my food because that's one little hack there, not only to like not have them be stuck in your throat, like not choking on supplements, taking them with food can help kind of get it down, especially for Dan. But I actually am at the point where I believe that like a lot of supplements can actually be received by your body better if you are taking them with food. So most of my supplements, what'll happen is I'll start eating food, and then about halfway through my meal, I take my little shot glass of vitamins. Sometimes I have to divide it in half because I take a lot of pills and I can't always get them all down at once, but sometimes I can. And then I take them and then I keep eating my food. I'm also very sensitive in the sense that like pretty much any vitamin, if I were to take it on an empty stomach, I get sick to my stomach. So taking them with food is like a double whammy thing. It prevents me from getting sick at all, but it also, I believe, helps with absorption of the supplements that you're taking. Now, I'm just going to start grabbing things because we got to get going here eventually. I'm going to say this. This is the only vitamin right now, other than occasionally I do have a probiotic that I did not bring out here because I'm not taking that one as regularly right now. If you've watched my videos for years, you already know what probiotic it is because I've taken it forever. But I actually switched it up recently because I didn't know, and this makes sense, that apparently you don't want to take the same strain of like probiotics for years and years and years and years. Because apparently if you do that, like you're not, this is a big duh when you say it out loud, but you're not getting enough like diversity in your microbiome. So I've mixed up my probiotic. The probiotic I take now is actually right here, and we'll talk about that, and that gets taken with food. But the other probiotic was taken on an empty stomach, and I've paused on that. This is the only other supplement I take occasionally on an empty stomach. I try to take it regularly. I'm not really in the habit of taking supplements on an empty stomach, like I mentioned, so I have to go out of my way and think about it. And this is new because this was only implemented when I injured my knee in December, but I still want to shout it out. And this is Christopher's original formula, his complete tissue and bone vitamins. So this is actually like an herb capsule that's supposed to be really good. Like the herbs that are put in here are supposed to be really good for tendons, joints, muscles, all of that. I also use this Christopher's brand. I buy, what is it called? Their Comfrey ointment, because Comfrey is supposed to be really, really good for joints and injuries. And I've been rubbing that on my knee. I also use that on my cuticles now. And I think it's my new favorite cuticle cream. Like I think I've moved on and this is my favorite. It used to be the Young Living Rose ointment, and that stuff's still really good. But I think I like this Comfrey Balm even more. So yeah, some of the herbs that are in this, just so you know, are white oak bark, lungwort herb. I mean, these are all herbs that I don't really know. Slippery elm. I've used slippery elm for throat stuff when I was singing before. But it's just a lot of herbs. Plantain leaf, skullcap herb, aloe vera, walnut leaf, a whole bunch of things. So there's that. Now, I'll just mention this next because we were talking about probiotics. The probiotic that I've been taking, and this is probably something I'm a little more irregular on, though I do take it still regularly, but it's because when I'm taking this is the only vitamin I like to take. I don't like to mix it with my other vitamins. Now, whether that's necessary, or not. That's just what I've been doing. And this is from Just Thrive. So this probiotic has gotten a lot of traction on the internet in the last, I'd say, like couple of years, but everybody I talk to that's used it says they love it. So when it was time for me to switch up my probiotics, this is what I decided to switch it to. And like I said, I take it with my food, but I don't like to take other stuff with it. So, you know, I have to time that right. And my vitamin, like what I take when, like I said, changes every day because of the woo-woo-wee-wah nature of how I'm taking vitamins, but also I purposefully go for certain things. So I'm aware of like the whole week. And it's like, oh, if it's been a couple days since I've taken my probiotic, oh man, it's been 2 days. Okay, well then this meal, I'm going to focus on just getting in my probiotic, you know? So there's that. So the next vitamin I'll show you, it's empty, but this is vitamin E. And vitamin E is fairly new to my life in the sense that I don't think I really realized the importance of vitamin E until fairly recently, because if I have to hear one more health person talk about it, it's like, get the picture, Nikki. Vitamin E is important. And obviously vitamin E is an antioxidant and it wraps itself around free radicals to protect your cells from damage from free radicals. And vitamin E is a very powerful one. Now, vitamin E here's the thing. It used to be in our food a lot. I mean, I think vitamin E might be in like salmon, but I know primarily vitamin E used to be very heavily like in our bread, because the way that bread used to be processed, I don't remember which part of the wheat, like it's the shell, I think around the wheat berries, and I don't remember, wheat germ, that's what it is, I think, has very high levels of vitamin E in it, and it used to make its way into our bread. But now the way that bread is processed, even if you're making it at home, we don't have the wheat germ, like we just have the flour, unless you're grinding wheat, which is something that I'm still working my way towards, but you're not getting the vitamin E. And so people apparently used to have a lot more vitamin E in their bodies and in their diets. And so this is a mixed, like multiple, because apparently there's different types of vitamin E. There's beta tocopherol, delta tocopherol, gamma tocopherol, alpha tocopherol. Those are interesting names. Anyways, yeah, so I've been taking this now for the last couple of months. Now I'm all out and I have a new bottle coming. This is from MitoLife. And I really liked it. Matt Blackburn is the founder of MitoLife, and I met him like a couple of months ago, and he actually gave me this bottle. But it was really interesting talking to him, hearing his knowledge around supplementation. He is actually one of those people online that used to be very anti-vitamin D, once again, because it's a hormone, and he was kind of concerned it was messing with some functions in the body. But he's actually had a dramatic change of heart in the last 6 months. He's like, never mind, just kidding. Like he's taken all of his socials and group chats to like tell everyone that he's had a change of heart around vitamin D, and he thinks it's actually really important. Which there's a doctor on YouTube that I really like, Dr. Eric Berg, and he is in that same camp. He really believes that vitamin D is like really important, really essential, not only to like your everyday life, but even to supplement. Like when someone's dealing with lots of inflammation, Eric Berg really believes in upping your vitamin D intake. Because he says that what elevated vitamin D can do to the body in terms of inflammation is really miraculous. So people have lots of different opinions on it, but point being, I got this from Matt Blackburn, and this was the first time I had ever used a mixed tocopherol vitamin E. So prior to that, I had been using just like one type of vitamin E, and I had only been using it like intermittently. And once I got this, I started using it like every time I'm taking vitamins, basically, like my mix, I take a vitamin E, and I use the whole bottle. And I have to say, I noticed like a big change, dare I say, in my skin. I have been using a tallow-based moisturizer now for like the last 5 months, I want to say, and my skin loves it. Like it feels so good. But once I started taking the vitamin E, it was noticeable that it was like, holy moly, like my skin, especially on my face, became supple. And so when I ran out a couple of days ago, I literally immediately started noticing a difference. It's not like my skin is super dry, but I was like, whoa, that's different. So I placed another order. This time, I think I'm going to be trying, I know, I ordered a mixed tocopherol blend through Thorne, just because I like Thorne, it's easy to get, and I actually had a discount for Thorne, so I'm going to be seeing how that goes, but I just wanted to say this was amazing and totally made a difference in my skin, so there's that. Speaking of which, Arctic cod liver oil, I don't know if or when I'll be repurchasing this cod liver oil. I mean, it's all debated, right? I want to be like each thing. This is very debated, but all of these supplements are debated. I believe the reason I started taking this a few months ago is because I think there is naturally occurring vitamin D, if I remember right, within cod liver oil. And then it's full of a lot of other really great things. I'm pretty sure there's DHEA in here, if I'm not making that up. And it's just supposed to be good for overall health, the people who believe it is good. I have a couple more pills left. I don't know. Maybe I will be repurchasing another bottle soon. Just got it because I thought it'd be good for my joints, my body, just general suppleness. And cod liver oil is something that is just like generally recommended, I mean, frequently. Not only just to like people, but women who want to become pregnant, which I never even mentioned that at the beginning of this video. A lot of this, maybe that was obvious because we talked about my miscarriage. A lot of this, well, first and foremost, it's in the spirit of just being healthy, right? I want to feel the best I can. I want to be able to serve my family and have fun with my friends and family to the best of my ability. But also, God willing, I want to have another baby. So a lot of this really feels like that too. Like I'm protecting and nourishing and caring for my womb and my vehicle, hopefully for my next child, / just myself. And I will say another thing. Probably a lot of you guys are going to wonder if Dan takes vitamins. Dan does, in fact, take vitamins. He doesn't take as many vitamins as I take, but he takes them. And usually what will happen is at a meal, when I make food, I'll create little bowls, like tiny little bowls with our supplements, and like he'll have his supplements in one bowl, mine will be in the other, and I change them up for him just like I do for me. Like I have some general ones that I put in pretty much every single time. And if you're wondering what some of those general ones are, let me just tell you right here. First off, grass-fed beef liver, so desiccated, dried, powdered beef liver. This is one that Dan takes and I take. And typically we take anywhere, and I'm realizing I never said like any type of dosages. Well, it doesn't matter. Honestly, we take the dosages that are on the package for the first 4. For these, I typically take like 3 per meal. So I'm taking anywhere from 6 to 9 caps a day. Typically around 6 capsules though. The serving size in the back is 4 to 6 capsules is what they're saying. So yeah, on a low day, I might be taking 3. On a high day, I might be taking 9. If you've wondered why people take beef liver, the gist is that there are a lot of people that feel like the liver is not just a filtration system, but that it's actually a center for creating certain like vital nutrients and important vitamins. And one of those is vitamin A. I mean, apparently beef liver is full of like a lot of vitamins that are hard for us to get from other food just based on like, not even just the standard American diet. I feel like even if you're eating, I would consider myself to be a healthy eater, and I just don't feel like I get enough of these nutrients like vitamin A that are really important for our bodies. So Dan takes these, I take them. I don't remember the other things that exist. Oh, here we go. Ready? Vitamin A is the first thing listed. Like it's a superfood rich of vitamin A, B12, CoQ10, which we're going to talk about that because I don't even know that I realized that. And I just started taking high quality CoQ10 because that is the one supplement that is mentioned every single time by fertility doctors on YouTube and all over the internet. So, but this apparently has naturally occurring CoQ10 in it. Zinc, copper, folate, choline, and hyaluronic acid. So apparently beef liver just has all of that naturally in it. So we take this on those notes. Along that line. Oh, well, I guess I'll just say this too. This wholesome grass-fed beef liver. I've taken the Ancestral Supplements one. There's one from a brand called like, I can't remember. I'll try to put the picture here if I can find it. And I don't know. I haven't noticed a difference. I tend to just read reviews really thoroughly and see what people say and then try. But I've not had any bad reactions. And it's not like I took a couple pills and suddenly was doing backflips. It's just, I feel generally so much more supported and healthier with my supplements. And I have to throw this out there too. Let me just say this. Take it or leave it. It also could be completely coincidence. But when Dan and I first moved to Idaho, and then I stopped taking supplements shortly after, and then we had a full year, and then miscarried and all of that. I didn't only miscarry, I was like the sickest I've been, I'm not even kidding you, in years, like so sick. Now, fast forward to now, we've been taking supplements pretty aggressively, honestly, since I miscarried. And through this last sick season, I didn't get sick once. I don't even think once. Like really thinking about it, I'm like, I think the last time I was sick was right around the time I miscarried. And Dan just got his first cold since I miscarried. So really not very sick at all. I mean, I'm telling you, the year before we were sick all the time. And then the same thing is true with Logan. Logan got sick last fall. And he hasn't gotten it's been like 6 months, and then he just got sick a few days ago for the first time in 6 months. Kind of crazy. Now you might be like, wait, what? Why are you bringing Logan into this? Does Logan take supplements? And my short answer is yes, not even close to what we take though. Like, this is our supplements. He does take some things. I'll tell you as we go which things he takes occasionally. Like the next supplement I'm about to show you, he occasionally takes. There's a few of these. Anyways, I don't have a lot of kid supplements is the point. I do have a vitamin D and K dropper that I occasionally use on Logan. I also have a chewable vitamin C from Young Living that I will occasionally give to him. We're going to circle back to that. I'm going to keep going with this, and then I will tell you as we go things that Logan takes as well. Sorry this is so all over the map, but I want to give you guys like the full picture, and that just means a lot of talking for me. So bioquinone CoQ10. This, I believe, is called ubiquinol. I think that's like the type of CoQ10 this is, ubiquinol. And not all CoQ10 is created equal. So if you are looking for CoQ10 online, you really want to read the reviews. From what I am understanding, ubiquinol CoQ10 is the best form of CoQ10 to take if you are trying to increase fertility. And I've watched it a million times. I still don't even really fully get it. Something about CoQ10 like increases your ovarian reserve. I don't really remember how to word that. Feel free to clarify in the comments. Anything I say, if you guys are like, oh, I was actually under the impression that it's da-da-da-da-da, feel free to let me know in the comments or correct things. Sometimes also I film things and then I'm editing them. And I'm like, just said like the completely opposite word of what I meant. And I just don't even notice when I'm talking. So that being said, cool. I've been taking it. I also just ordered another order of ubiquinol CoQ10 from Thorne. I know I just mentioned that, but I'm going to be taking the rest of these. They're good. Once again, not like I had any kind of immediate change, but I'm taking it mostly because every fertility doctor that I can find talks about CoQ10 as being like very important. So we talked about Logan. This is not the one he takes, but this is a D3 and K2 supplement dropper. I was taking little pills before, but then I ran out of them. And then I realized I had this bottle of liquid vitamin D. And I'm less concerned about my vitamin D now that the sun is back out. But the last few months I was especially concerned about it. Not only because this, I'm like practically in Canada up here in North Idaho, but on top of that, so the sun wasn't out as much. I've been dealing with inflammation from my knee injury and any general inflammation that I have. But, which is not even close to what it was before. Let me just throw that out there. In general, I can't even believe how much healthier I've felt the last few years. So now that the sun is basically back out in full force, I'm not so concerned about vitamin D, but I do have this D3K2 dropper from AG Greens, or maybe it's just called AG. I don't remember. I have like a green drink from them. I worked with them a few months ago. Maybe it was last summer on their greens powdered beverage. And they also have different vitamins and supplements. And so this D3K2, I take that. I will say if you're going to take vitamin D, in my opinion, make sure it comes with K2. I don't think vitamin D even really processes very well if you don't have the K2. Could also be wrong about that, but that is what I'm aware of. So, oh yeah, and I said this because I also give D to Logan. I have a different bottle dropper for him. Maybe I should grab that and show you. Just kidding, I had to grab a couple of things. Okay, so first off, yes, I do have the D3K2 dropper for Logan. But, I'm not like all the time giving this to him. If he's seeming a little sick, if we had been, there was less sun before, that's when I'm doing that. And also if he's been feeling sick, like last week when he started having that flare up, I've had this for a little while because he hasn't been sick, but I used it. This is from Wish Garden. It's an herbal remedy company. And this is the Kick It Immune little mix. And it's got elderflower in it, calendula flower, echinacea, which was something else I was going to show you. Yerba Santa leaf, hawthorn berry, and usha root. Apparently just some good herbs for the immune system. And also on that note, I keep a bottle of echinacea. I've had it for a while now because I never ended up getting sick in the last year. But I had been so sick before that, I wanted to keep echinacea on hand because echinacea is another thing that's really great if you are fighting illness. To my knowledge, you don't want to take echinacea if you're not sick. So that's just kind of a side note. But yeah, okay, don't get on a tangent, Nikki. Keep focusing. We are like halfway done through this. So, organic milk thistle. This was recommended to me by my friend Lee, or Little House in the Mountain here on YouTube. We have had a few discussions about pregnancy and nausea, and she has worked as a doula for many years. And her favorite theory about why women get morning sickness or just like sick being pregnant is because of the liver not properly working. Now, that and not being properly hydrated, which we'll talk about in a second. But point being, milk thistle is apparently a great like detoxer essentially for the liver. And if you're like, what's wrong with your liver, Nikki? Just to like throw it out there, I took about 10 Advil a day for 10 years when I was a dancer. So painkillers are really hard for your liver to process. Didn't know that at the time. I was very much focused into just like being like the best beast mode dancer I could. So, you just take the pain pills and keep going. Very exciting. So, yeah, I think I thrashed my liver a bit during that period of time. So organic milk thistle has been added to my regimen, and I take one at basically every meal. Now, along those notes, the hydration notes, I started implementing these into my life maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. And I did it originally because there's a lot of debate as to whether the Berkey actually keeps good minerals in its water. So Berkey basically says that the way that their filter works is it filters out all the bad stuff and it keeps in the good stuff, which may or may not be true. That's what they say. I've had nothing but great interactions with Berkey. I don't think that they're lying, but you never know with studies how things are done, if it's actually like not true, like them lying, but like, oh, is that actually really like what that means? That's what I'm trying to say. But I have another friend who's actually read all of these studies, and he says that that's not true. That like the people that were like, no, well, did I even phrase that right? Basically, a bunch of people were like, no, that's not true. It gets rid of all the minerals, so you don't even get good minerals in your drinking water. Well, this guy that I'm friends with that has read all the studies, he's like, that's not true. The study wasn't even done well. It was done by this other company. They did it on like 3 kids or 3 people, whatever. All these things he was explaining to me like a week ago. So he thinks that's not true. Berkey is telling the truth, that good minerals come through. But another friend made a good point. They're like, if your water in the first place doesn't have good minerals, then it doesn't matter if it's letting the good minerals through. And I was like, that's a good point. So even though it may be letting good minerals through, I'm going to continue taking these because I think that they're important, and I don't know that I'm getting enough of these minerals other ways. So this is called the Concentrates Trace Mineral Drops, and just like it sounds, it's full of like lots of different minerals. Magnesium, chloride, sodium, potassium, sulfate, lithium, boron. And my friend Lee also thinks, like I mentioned, that like not being hydrated can be another cause of morning sickness. And she means like cellularly hydrated, not just like, oh, I drank water, because people can actually drink water and their cells aren't necessarily accepting the water. So you can get kind of bloated, or you just pee it all out. It just depends. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but that is a thing that happens. And so by bringing minerals to your water, just like drinking electrolyte water, right? We all know that. Like if you're playing a sport and then you're going to chug water and your body needs the minerals, it's like you're probably going to pee, and you might have an imbalance problem because you're not actually replenishing with minerals. So now I take that. Okay, speaking of minerals, I also take Shilajit drops. Shilajit, they're in little tablets. But Shilajit is a resin that is once again full of really great minerals, but it's a naturally occurring resin on these rocks from a mountain, I don't even know, like the Himalayas or something crazy like that. But people say that Shilajit is like miraculous, and it does all these crazy things, including apparently it can also help with like muscle development, which muscle growth is a really big thing that I'm like trying to focus on, not only because of my knee injury, but just to be like the best, strongest, healthiest mom / wife / friend I can. So apparently Shilajit even helps with muscle development because it does something with I think it like helps spike your testosterone, which apparently is good because I think most of us are probably lower in testosterone depending on the type of lifestyle we're leading. I don't really mean that. Some people have completely wonky different types of, levels in their hormones depending on their lifestyle. But yeah, I think that's what I read about that. I hope I'm not making that up. Also, I keep organic grapefruit seed extract on hand and little empty capsules, which I thought I had here, but I don't. So that this is another great thing to do if anyone is feeling sick. So Dan took a couple of these this week as well. Like in the little capsule, I'd put like 10 drops in and he'd swallow it. Also, we have used this to help our chickens with illness before. We had a chicken that had some kind of illness and was like molting feathers and super weak and scrawny and small. and we put a couple of drops in their water for like the upcoming 2 weeks, and it totally changed everything around. That chicken is far from scrawny now. It might be one of the bigger ones in the pack. All of its feathers grew in. Grapefruit seed extract is truly phenomenal. It is antibacterial, and if you Google stories on grapefruit seed extract, you might be surprised what you find, because everything I'm seeing is that it's phenomenal. Okay, we are nearing the end. Vitamin C. This is from MitoLife. He also gave me this when he gave me the vitamin E. Matt did, and I'm a big vitamin C fan. I pretty much take 2 of these pills, so 2 vitamin C pills, which is about 1,200 milligrams, basically every meal. So I'm taking about 5,000 grams-ish a day. On just a regular occurrence. Now, vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, just like vitamin Bs are water-soluble. So if you don't need them, in my opinion, you just process them and pee them out. But a lot of people burn through ascorbic acid. They burn through vitamin C very fast. And there's a lot of people that feel like it has to be a whole food sourced vitamin C. And I did that for a while. I took some whole food sourced vitamin C capsules. And I can't say, I don't know. Did it make any difference? I don't know. Matt Blackburn, who owns MitoLife, he also has come to the conclusion that like, no, it doesn't necessarily matter, or makes sense from like a cost perspective as a consumer to be able to get the amount of vitamin C that you would need in for it to just be a whole food-based vitamin C powder. I consume so much vitamin C through the food that I eat. And I don't know. I just feel good because of my own history with vitamin C and the types of vitamin C that I've used to deal with different illnesses. I feel good about that. So I take vitamin C, like I said, about 2 every meal. Okay, so the next thing that I've been taking pretty much since my accident is turmeric. This is turmeric curcumin with bioperine, if that's how you say it, which is basically like a pepper. Because fun fact that you should be aware of if you're buying turmeric, turmeric is not effective in and of itself as a anti-inflammatory, which is why I take it. I should have clarified that. It's not effective by itself without black pepper. Like something in black pepper, which is what bioperine is, whatever that is. That's basically a black pepper. I remember looking this up on Amazon and being like, I don't see black pepper, and then Googling it. It was like, oh, okay, that's the black pepper. That's what helps kind of like put the key in the car and like ignite the turmeric. So I take a lot of these. I take probably, it says 2,400 milligrams for 4 veggie capsules. I take about 3 veggie capsules with every meal. So I'm taking almost like, I'm probably taking like 7,000 grams-ish of turmeric curcumin a day. And I ran out a few weeks ago, and I have to say that is a supplement that I'm fairly confident my body noticed when it was gone. My inflammation and my pain felt like it really increased a lot. And then when I got my new order in, I felt like I came back to what had started to feel like normal pain levels from taking it. So, yeah, that stuff's cool. Now this, I have nothing to report on other than the fact that I've been taking it. This is elk velvet, also from MitoLife. So literally, these are like, it's like from elk, like antlers. And what it says is elk velvet antler has been used in oriental medicine for centuries to strengthen bones and muscles, soothe joints, support the yang energy of the kidney, build the blood, increase circulation and endurance, and as an overall body tonic. MitoLife premium grade elk antler velvet is humanely harvested and freeze-dried from healthy elk in the northern United States. So I've been taking this just because all of that sounds good, and we all know I'm on the supplements bandwagon. I'm trying to heal my joints, my knee, get stronger every day. So yeah. Now the next thing, this is the supplement that I referred to at the beginning as like, I think that's really important for me to like operate as a human. And if I had to narrow it down to one supplement that potentially missing it maybe caused problems within my pregnancy, I would say it was this. I feel like that's a really heavy statement. And don't take anything I say too seriously. I'm just thinking out loud as your internet friend. But this is methylated folate. And what I mean by that is I was diagnosed with an MTHFR gene mutation back when I was like in my teens. And basically, the gist of what they can understand, what that means at this point, is that your body, my body, essentially does not methylate, which is a process that's really important in the breakdown of vitamins to be able to use those vitamins in my body. So methylation is an important part of breaking those down and making them useful. My body doesn't do that. So even if I'm supposedly, right, this is all theory, even if I'm supposedly eating the proper vitamin B amounts, like the right nutrients, my body won't break it down. And the same thing is true with supplements. So if you have an MTHFR gene mutation and you are taking, I always get folic acid and folate confused. Folate, I believe. Your body will not break it down. And actually, the body kind of treats it like poison, apparently. If it's not methylated, your body doesn't know what to do with it and will treat it like poison, supposedly. So getting your folate methylated is the hack around that. I took methylated folate through my entire pregnancy with Logan, and I had been taking it prior to that for like a decade with no break. So methylated folate, this supplement, I really like it, I will say. I also just ordered the Super B from Thorne for the reasons I mentioned, and their vitamin B, their Super B, it's already folate, or it's already methylated, so it's good to go. But this has been a good supplement to me, and it's got B1, B2, B6, and then obviously the methylated folate and B12. And honestly, I would say this is one of the most important supplements that I would imagine that I could take for my pregnancy in my mind at this point, because apparently if someone does not know that they have the MTHFR gene mutation and they are not supplementing or dealing with the fact that their body will not methylate folate, apparently your chances of completing a healthy pregnancy and not miscarrying are like much lower. Now, yeah, we'll see as time goes on, as my diet is continuing to like not only change, but just like I'm consistently showing up with those foods that I think are healing and nourishing and helpful for my body. It'll be interesting as time goes on to see like what happens, because I have a friend who she says she has the MTHFR gene mutation, and she is 40 years old and she is delivering her 5th baby at home in a home birth, and she takes no supplementation. Now, I think she eats a lot differently than me, and she has for a long time. Her meat intake is a lot higher. Like from a medical theory perspective or a dietary theory perspective, yeah, like I said, I think she eats better than me in the sense of like what one would need to eat in order to get B vitamins that can be methylated or like will heal your body to the point of being able to methylate it. She's just farther ahead on that journey than I am, and has been eating in ways that I think can help the body for longer than me. Also, I don't even know if it's true. It's all guess. It's all theory. All I know is after I miscarried, I was like, nope, I'm back to supplements. I also just think that like eating really well can be very hard at times, depending on your access to certain food and what your day-to-day lifestyle looks like. So even when I'm eating really, really well, which I feel like I've been eating really well for a while now, I just like it. Plus, if any of those people are right about like just the amount of protein you're supposed to be consuming or the types of animal products you should be consuming for certain health outcomes, I'm not there on all of that. My friends jokingly call me a recovering vegetarian, and in some ways I will always be a vegetarian in my heart because I just love vegetables and fruit so much, and I'm obviously not a fan of like industrial farming, so just a lot has changed over the last few years. I don't even know what that rant was. I'm going to show you the last few things I have over here that I haven't shared. First off, spirulina and chlorella. I take this just to get in some good dark greens. I put these, it's all over the place. It's a mess. This is from Perfect Supplements, which is also the other brand that I've bought beef liver from. And I put the spirulina in a capsule. And basically by taking spirulina and chlorella, you're getting like a wide array of nutrients. The nutrient that I'm kind of like in my mind was like, okay, I should take this for that, is iodine. But yeah, I take these in capsules. When I think about it, usually 2 pills at a time. I try to do it daily. So there's that. I have been taking, on another note, this pure magnesium oil. I spray it on the bottom of my feet at night before bed for like a year. Now, I also take Epsom salt baths, and as we heard, there is magnesium in the trace mineral drops. But I like spraying this on at the bottom of my feet. It's the only place I can spray it, otherwise my skin burns. But on the bottom of my feet, I don't feel anything. And I will say, when I had an HTMA test done like 5 months ago, my magnesium levels looked great. And the woman who read my test was like, I don't see people with good magnesium levels super often. So I was like, hey, I know that's coming from my supplements. So that's a separate topic. Separate topic. Anyways, Vital Protein Collagen Peptides. I use this a lot. This is more of, it's not really a supplement, but kind of. I tend to mix it with a lot of food. I put these collagen peptides, and this recipe is going to be in my cookbook, but I put it in my Parmesan quiche. I put them in my smoothies. I put collagen peptides in a lot of things. I put them in my double chocolate sourdough muffins, which are also going to be in my cookbook. So yeah, there's that. Not a supplement, but kind of. I drink these dandelion root tea bags from time to time. I do that for a few reasons. Apparently dandelion, even though we have a ton growing outside now, I should probably just go grab some. Apparently dandelion is really good for your liver to help cleanse your liver. So once again, we're talking about liver cleansing. And also it helps with bloating. Apparently it really just helps with excess bloating. So, I don't know if I really notice either way, but I drink this tea. I also like to take maca from time to time. This isn't really like a daily supplement thing, but I do it occasionally. I'll throw it in some like baked goods or in smoothies or in yogurt bowls. And maca is supposed to just be like really good all around. But if I'm going to be honest, one of the main reasons I got it is for female hormones. Apparently maca can really help level out female hormones. And if you're someone who doesn't have much of a libido, maca can really help with that. I love how I get all awkward. I'm like, do I even want to talk about that? I will say, I notice a difference when I take maca. I'm just going to throw that out there like that. And on the front, they say that maca boosts energy, stamina levels, immune system, athletic endurance, improves memory, focus, blood circulation, hormones, mood balance, all that. But I have heard so many people say, and I'm not on here saying that I have like a super low libido or anything, but I'm just saying if you're ever like, I really want to increase my libido, whether that is just generally you want to increase your libido or whether that is literally, I'm just going to be real here, that day. If you're like, I want to increase my libido today, tonight. It, in my opinion, can often be that fast acting. It's kind of crazy. So the next thing and the last thing, liquid chlorophyll. So I like this stuff. I don't remember why I started taking chlorophyll, but what I like to do with this stuff is I like to put about a tablespoon in my big glass or my big icy water bottle, and then I will squeeze a bunch of lemon juice in there as well. So it's lemon with the chlorophyll. This chlorophyll just tastes green. There's no flavor to it. But chlorophyll is apparently really great for you and really great for your blood. Here's what they say. Chlorophyll is a common ingredient found in all green foods and is responsible for the green color on land and in water. It is essential to all life as it helps plants purify the air and raise oxygen levels. Chlorophyll has been referred to as the blood of plants. It is an easily digestible source of vitamins and minerals naturally occurring in varying amounts. Many people feel that regularly consuming chlorophyll may lead to a healthy metabolism and a balanced body chemistry. So, I mean, that all sounds good. I don't actually remember the original reason I got chlorophyll, but I drink it from time to time and I like it. And I'm someone that just like, I really like greens. I like salads. I like green juices. I like green smoothies. I like green vegetables. I feel good with greens. I like green drinks. So there's that. So this was way longer of a spiel than I expected. I had hoped to like do this in 15 minutes, but I felt like also as I was talking, I wanted to give you guys like my real answers and thoughts about things. So be sure to let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions or even if you have any thoughts, if you've had experience with any of these supplements and what your experience has been, if there's anything I said that you're like, that didn't make sense, or actually, I think you meant this, whatever. But yeah, it's happening. Let's see. We have one egg! Yeah! Here you go. Yeah. Let's check the top. Oh no, there's a second egg right here. Yeah! You want to come over here, furry foot? Here, let me see if I can get a chicken and show you because our chickens have grown so much. Let me introduce you to... We've got furry foot! Hi, furry foot. This might be Freckles. Furryfoot and Freckles look identical. And now we've got Snow White coming, although I think she's trying to peck at my phone. Here. But they're all so big. If you've watched my day in my life videos over the last couple of months and you saw that they used to be tiny little chicks. And now they're like these terrifying big birds. Come here, Snow White. Ooh, that was not a win. Okay, so this is proving harder and more impossible than I thought. Logan left with the eggs. I was gonna show you guys the eggs. We got the chicks. They're not chicks anymore. They're like full-on chickens. They're huge and they're doing well. I wanted to tell you guys, they are almost like they're basically all laying eggs almost once a day. Someone is laying an egg. So we are basically done buying eggs now, which is crazy. And I just have to say, if you guys have ever considered getting backyard chickens, it's so much fun. I literally love them so I love them so much, and I loved them before they even started laying. And now that they're like giving us food, it's even more awesome. So Stormy totally flapped a wing in my face, and that kind of hurt. But Stormy actually really likes us, and she's one of my favorites. Although I love you all, I don't have any favorites. Stormy is pretty awesome. And let's see if we can not get flapped in the face. Stormy is definitely one of Dan's favorite. I genuinely love all of them. I do think that the furry foot and the freckles look pretty, like they have a pretty cool look about them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just very exciting having this whole run done and having their coop like actually being used now. They're laying eggs in there and just having them here. I look out in the backyard every day and I'm like, dude, I love having chickens. So, oh my gosh. I just wanted to give you guys a chicken update because I feel like the last updates I had given were like them as tiny chicks and then the coop being put together, but like not, it wasn't finished. And now we have like full on adult chickens that are laying eggs and living in their coop. And it's really crazy. So many things I feel like in life, if you just do them, like the time is going to pass anyways. And Dan and I looked at each other the other day and we're like, I can't believe we officially have like full on chickens laying eggs now. Like, actually crazy. So yeah, guys, that is it for this video. Another shout out to Green Chef. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. Check out the info box down below for my discount code to get 60% off your first box plus free shipping. And shout out again to all my patrons. And last but not least, if you're struggling, I just want to let you guys know I'm praying for all of you. And I want to encourage you to just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. All right. Bye, guys.